I am Kiersten. Happy Wednesday if you're listening to this on the day it drops. Our podcast drops every Wednesday.
Heck yeah.
I have Carli here with me, and we are pumped and ready.
Yes,
right?
we are. And we're so excited to have you joining us. If you're not already following us on podcasts, make sure that you go find us there, Healthier, Happier Hour, and on Instagram too. But we are here, Kiersten and I'm Carli. She's Kiersten. We are here to help you live your healthiest, happiest life. And we're going to do that by helping you get healthy and feel better, connect in your relationships, and enjoy your life throughout the whole process. So pumped to have y'all joining us today.
Woo-woo. Yay! And it's so cool because I love how you framed it this time. Your healthiest, happiest version of life, right? Because we're so individual. And those three buckets that you mentioned, including enjoying your life right now. Like we want you to enjoy when we're meeting our goals, when we're getting it after it together. And it was so cool. Carli and I had an individual session with a client the other day. And it was just so fun to dive into her exact specifics.
So fun.
And there were moments I could tell. And since it was our first session, I wasn't gonna push too hard, but there were moments I could tell that and we encouraged her on this, that she thought like, oh, she didn't say it, but she said it in other words of like, I'm the only one who experiences this. And Carli, you and I both gave specifics of like, nope.
Like, nope. No, you're not.
Do you know, I can say, do you remember one of the moments that happened? About how she said? Do you remember?
One of the moments was us all not being put together, if you will. Like we're all there, hair clip, messy bun, like, zip up shirt on, like it's a party up here, but business up here, party down, motto, like
the party.
It was just, we were all just rolling into the session with who we were, like just showing up as we were. We're like, there's no judgment here.
That's right. So
yeah,
we're just wanting you to come as you are, and every week show up with us and come as you are and enjoy this process, whether you're moving, cleaning, driving, whatever it is you're doing. Yeah. We are excited that you're here, and we like to start every show. Well, I haven't even taken one sip of my drink yet.
I was going to say, what's the happier hour tonight situation?
Yeah. So true happy hour. And I was like, I have failed at getting a margarita ready every time so far since we've had like a true happy hour show. And I was like, I did it. We got it. So I have a margarita here, and you can hear my eyes. And isn't this a fun glass?
Yes. It's like a sombrero upside down.
So what are you drinking over there, girl?
Good. Such a fun glass. Okay, my glass is the same. It's my Healthier, Happier Hour glass always. But I am also drinking a margarita, but strawberry this time.
Woo!
I know I got a little fancy over here. So cheers to that.
Twinning.
Mm-hmm. Cheers to happy hour. I'm drinking my marg out of my straw again.
That's good.
So, you're welcome. Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan. And I have a little fire and ice theme going over here because normally I have a glass of water, and I mind you when I'm having conversations. So on my other podcast, when I have conversations, I always have to have like something warm to hold on to, because then it gets my busy hands something to do, something to hold on to, because otherwise it's like chaos, right? But my theme is fire and ice, because even though it's gorgeous here, so grateful, it's gorgeous there too, right?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, this is weird, and it's not some potion that I think is going to make me like lose weight in 2 hours or anything like that. But here's what I have in here. Hot water.
Mm-hmm.
Hot water, cayenne, honey, and lemon.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I've done that before.
You've never done it yet?
No, I have done that before, like a version of that. But instead of the honey, it was like not raw, but like real, the real good maple syrup.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I
Yeah,
love maple syrup. So maybe I
I
should
do
try
too.
that time. Honey is
Yes.
just so well, hot water, honey, so soothing. And I love spicy.
Yeah.
Adding a little spice to my life in any area, one is fun, but two slows me down. And we all know this girl needs to be slowed down.
That's the opposite of most people. Most people, I feel like the spices lighten them up. They're going. You,
Well,
not the case.
well, it slows me down in the like quickness that I am drinking too. So here we are.
So good. I thought you were going to say it's fiber water and make fun of me for,
I'll do that
a
someday.
few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it's not for your sake.
All right, girly. Share with us. I'm not even going to give a teaser of where we're going because it's just going to be so awesome and I'm excited to go there. But we'll keep you guessing for a little longer. But
All
share
right.
cheers or tears with us that's happened to you recently.
Cheers or tears recently. Okay. I had not really thought about what I was going to share, even though I knew it was my time, but then
It's
we,
so fun.
every time, I know, but actually we had a really, really fun, like family afternoon today, which is like random weekday, but we were outside. My husband came home from work. It's beautiful here. The kids and I had been outside. They got, my daughter came home from school. My son's out there ready to play with her. And we got these water guns the other day. My son got one in his Easter basket and then from grandma and grandpa. And then daughter got one. And then we've had like kids and friends come over and we were like, we just need to buy a couple more of these just to like have. So when friends come over, everybody can play.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not just our two kids ganging up on everyone. So anyhow, my husband comes home from work. Yeah, exactly. He comes home from work. We're all outside already. We're like sweating bullets because it's so hot. And we had filled up all the water guns, played with them, whatever. And we just all ran around the yard like boys versus girls having a little water gun battle and got the hose involved and all kinds of stuff. But it was so fun. Yeah, it was really fun and unexpected kind of like, I'm at home playing with them after school, but like then dad comes home and, in the work clothes is running around the yard. And I'm like, this is fun.
That is so incredible.
So happy. This is happy and healthy.
I know. And I don't know about you, but the best mom version of me is a playful, fun version.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I am just like, big cheers, high fives.
Yay.
To that girly.
Thank you.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to say something really funny because I'm picturing your husband coming home and you like tossing him a filled up water gun and you guys like Mr. and Mrs. Smith style back to back. And this is what my dad would always say whenever he'd walk in the door when we were like in the middle of playing something when my brother and I were kids is he'd be like, new sheriff in town. So give that line to Brooks so he can come and like, new sheriff in town. Let's go.
Watch out.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was just happy. Like, man, we need more of this happy stuff. Just like simple. Who cares if you're getting all messy and wet?
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, that's good.
That's so good. I love that. And that is perfect to lead into because I already shared that's a goal of mine. As a mom is to be playful, be fun. And what I kind of want to dive into is get your take and we'll just, go back and forth and, whatever's helpful for the listener, go there. About starting again. And so I think I had clearly no idea. You had no idea you were going to say that, but your cheers But let's start there. Let's start with me when I want to be playful and fun with my kids. And where do I find myself? Not playful and fun. I find myself the stressed out, too much on my plate, like too many tasks, and I don't get to just enjoy and go all in with this like playful energy. Um, so just the topic in general, starting again. And so let's start there because that's right where, someone listening finds themselves. I find myself there. And so it's like, okay, here I am. I'm stressed. I'm frustrated that I fell down a hole.
Yeah.
What next? Not even what next, but like, where do we start?
Where do we start?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's such a good question. Where do we start when we're starting again? What's the first thing that we should do? Yeah. Well, first of all, like, I just want to say and highlight that if you're listening and you have experienced that, like, you are not alone in that. Anyone, if you've paid attention or been part of our show or, joined us on Instagram Live or anything, you hear us say all the time, like, how important it is to like get your reps in and pick up and keep going and like look for the little wins and things like that. But having that as part of your journey, like that resistance or that falling down or, oh man, like I have failed and all of that stuff, those thoughts that come up, those experiences, those situations in our control and out of our control, everybody experiences that. So I want to just like back up for a second and just say that if that's you, whatever your goal is that you're working toward and you've experienced that on some level, like know that that is very normal. And, we shared in an episode recently, like to expect that, right? Like to almost anticipate and expect that there's going to be resistance. There's going to be times that you don't show up fully the way that you want to. That doesn't mean that you failed. So I want to just like plug that in really quickly first. And also, I don't know, I have a hard time, and I've said this word like 3 times now, but I have a really hard time when we're talking about goals saying like, oh, I failed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like when we think about starting again.
Yeah.
And failure and how those two are connected.
Gotcha.
Right? Like in our head, sometimes we're like, oh, I have to start over. I have to start again because I have failed. Right. And so I think it's really important to spend some time there also and think about, okay, let's be like really honest with ourselves. What does that mean to you? Like you've got to define what was that failure if you're starting again.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think we're pretty hard on ourselves.
Oh,
and so I wonder if like, did you really fail? Because that can become like a thought that can take on a life of its own and hold us back from starting again.
Yeah.
And it keeps us from recognizing how far we've already come. So just quick little thought on that word. I think we got to be careful about how we use it and when.
I think our language matters. I totally agree. Our language matters. So for the sake of an experiment, when you were saying that, I'm like, yeah. So instead of, if you have any like negative association, which let's be honest, most of us do when you use that word, what if just for fun right now, we change it to fall down, right? So when you fall down, that's like part of it. Like when you're out there in the backyard, doing your water fight, like it's actually more fun if you're like sliding through the grass, like falling down, getting low, you know what I mean? I mean, it's just part of it, right? We would never expect a toddler to learn to walk without falling down.
Right.
So I like that. If you have like negative association with failure, which let's be honest, like our school system, right, makes us feel that way.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yeah. It's like and there is something to be said. Like we should, we're talking about a goal. Yes, I do agree with you. And I do think that's just, I spent 11 years in education. Like I see that for sure. And, I think it's important. Yes, we should be honest with ourselves and recognize like, okay, I'm trying to attain this goal. I didn't meet it. And so I'm having to start over. But just because I didn't meet it doesn't necessarily mean it was a failure. right? And so like we do want to have that measure of progress. That's important,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
But it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to mean that we didn't do it at all or that we failed. So I agree with you. I think using that word like fall down or like even, a word we've used a lot before is like, okay, let me reset. Like, let me pause, reevaluate, reset, and
Yeah.
restart right here where I am today, right
3
now.
R's, just like that. 3 R's. I like that. It's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
go ahead.
it's a goal worth having. Like we talked about that in a previous episode.
Yeah.
Being a fun, playful mom does feel like the best version of me. So I'm not alone, I know.
No.
Thank goodness, right? And sometimes when we kind of isolate ourselves or do not talk about it, it makes us feel very alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
I was just talking to some other moms, and I'm not going to go into the story, but one of the moms looked visibly shocked that literally all 3 of us were having the same experience. And she just, I could tell by her face, like she had no clue. And we
Yeah.
both said, like, that's totally me. This is my version of that. This is my version. Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you said that just out the gate. And so then, what if, the feel of like shame or overwhelm or, you know, frustration comes up? Like, I
Yeah.
how can we do you have any thoughts on like how we can get excited to get back up? And because just, sometimes it's just like, lay down there after you fall and plan for long.
Sometimes you just want to lay down there. Oh my gosh. It just gave me a really good visual. We were having a water gun fight yesterday. Also, we
2
had
days in
some,
a row.
I know it's been wild. Right. And yeah, my son had been going nonstop and he wiped out in the middle of our backyard. And I was like, all right, buddy, hop back up. Let's go. And he just stayed there. He said, I think I'm just going to stay here for a minute.
What?
And I was like, fair enough.
Yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
think like too, it gave me that funny visual of like him just, kind of sprawled out in the grass, his water gun nearby. Like, I think I'm just going to stay here for a minute. That I think when we're like, to come back to your question with that, I think when we are restarting a goal, or resetting ourselves up to meet the same goal, right? Like, because first of all, we've already said, okay, did you really fail? Let's be honest and assess that. And let's really like lean into the progress that you've made so far. That's really significant. So before we even get into like how do we get through all this? I think one key thing is we've got to back up and look at, okay, well, where did I start initially? Like maybe my goal was to get, I don't know, and it's got to be measurable, like we've said, whether it's like, I want to lose 20 pounds or I want to be able to run a half marathon, or I want to, feel more connected to the work that I'm doing, or I want to, create deeper, stronger friendships, whatever it is. We have to first pause, I think, and go back and look at, okay, where was I when I started this goal? Like, let me revisit because we forget. Like
Yeah.
once we've made progress, right? Like we forget. It's why
Yeah.
anytime somebody's doing like, I shouldn't say anytime, but very often when somebody's being coached, on some kind of physical weight loss journey or, getting stronger or something like that, they're taking measurements, they're taking photos, they're taking all of those things to track their progress because you're looking at yourself every day and you don't see that. So, we're not talking about necessarily those kind of goals. Those are great. But any goal that you're doing, a lot of times we miss our progress. And so we got to go back and like spend some time looking at where did I start and how far have I come? Let me like acknowledge that. And I did all of these 15 different things and I made it this far and like own that and be proud of it.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't to the level that you were initially trying to reach or to meet. So once we've done that, that automatically is going to free up like some of that guilt and that shame and that just feeling of like ick, feeling like you have failed or that you are a failure, because those two things are not true. Like even if you did not meet your goal, that does not equate to you being a failure. And that's like a thought that a lot of people have when they're trying to restart something. And so if you want to be able to take a step forward and reset yourself and restart again, you do have to spend time looking at where have I already come? What have I already done? What can I be proud of? Okay. And this is now like a new starting point, which is exciting. You know, we're not starting back here at like point A. Now we're at like, I don't know, P or whatever letter we want to do in the alphabet, like wherever we are. We have a new starting point.
Yeah, exactly. And like assessing this baseline, I think is so key. So key.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. I like it. So
I have one other thought on this.
Please keep going.
If we have,
Yes,
if we have
do.
time. So
come on. Let's
I know we're in charge. I don't know why I said if we have time. We're in charge. It's great. The other thing that I think a lot of people, and we've talked about this before a little bit on our show, that people try to like skip or bypass that feeling of like, oh, I didn't like meet what I wanted. Right. So there is a balance. So we've spent some time like, don't be super hard on yourself. Like you don't need to lean into shame, lean into guilt to motivate you. That's never going to work long term or create a sustained, like healthier, happier life. It's just not. Might work for a short term. But at the same time, it is okay to feel disappointed or to feel like, man, I really wanted to do this. And I just like, it didn't happen for whatever reason, whether it's in your control or not. It just didn't happen. I didn't make it. I didn't hit the mark where I wanted. Like, that sucks. Mm-hmm. And it's also okay to like have both of those things existing at the same time. So for each person, this is the beauty of like when you were mentioning, you know, our personal coaching. I think this is the beauty of like working with a coach intentionally and in a personal setting, because when somebody knows like, okay, this is your goal, they know you, they know your, you know, the way that you kind of think, they know your blind spots, they know your strengths, they know all of these things about you. And so they can help you see, am I leaning too far into like, oh, I failed, I didn't make it, or not acknowledging what caused you to not make it, right? Right. Like
our coaches say like, this was a loss.
Yeah.
Data, right? And, you know, a lot of times we learn more from a loss than a win.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, because there's probably been moments like, that's why we need a coach. That's why we need community. That's why we need someone we can trust to kind of hold up a mirror to us.
Exactly.
Yeah. We don't want to fall too far over into like the delusional or like blame, you know, the sports analogy. It's like, you know, we all know the athletes and maybe sometimes we're one of them. No shame in that like as soon as, you know, you fall down or you got a loss or a personal loss or a team loss, it's like, it's the ref's fault. It's this person's fault. It's, you know, whatever. Right. Yeah. And so we don't want to be delusional. We don't want to be blaming everyone else. We want to like own our part and say, all right, so what do we want to say to ourselves? Like, all right.
Yeah. So I think, you know, you just mentioned something so important. Like we do have to pull out the facts, right? Yeah. So this is where like the whole idea of like reframing your thinking can be really powerful, because sometimes, you know, if you have somebody point out to you and say like, okay, Kiersten, you're really like blaming these 3 factors 100% for like why you missed the mark here. And if you've got like a really compassionate, loving, kind, but coach who's going to hold you accountable, they can say like, hey, where is your responsibility in this? Or like within these things, what can you control? Right? Like let's acknowledge X, Y, and Z are the reasons for why you didn't meet this goal. Right? So you have to, as you're thinking through this, be able to think about, all right, what are the facts? Like what's the reality? Yeah. What am I in control of? And how does that transition to starting new or starting over or resetting, right? So, you know, sometimes what can happen is we just stay in like this thought loop of, well, I'm never going to make it because yada, yada, yada happened. or I feel so discouraged that I'm not going to be able to do it because blah, blah, blah. Blah,
Right.
blah, blah is a really good example, isn't it? Um,
Blah, blah,
blah,
blah,
blah, blah. Yeah. So fill in the blank with whatever it is. So
Right.
you do want to pull out and you do want to identify and point out, like, these are the reasons, these are the causes. Okay. And give yourself the power back and say, like, and I can still move forward in this way, or, whatever the goal is, I can still move forward because I'm going to, and fill in the blank with like what your new action step is. Right. Or it could be like, I'm feeling really disappointed that I didn't meet, this goal to be able to run in this half marathon. Like I missed my time or I did whatever. Feeling really disappointed. These are all the reasons why. All of that's valid and fine.
Yeah.
Okay. But I know I can still meet this goal because I'm going to blank. So you give yourself like that power back because you are calling yourself into action, into how you're going to adapt and change when you decide, all right, I'm ready to dive back in. I'm ready to restart and reset this goal. Here we go.
So is that like some of those examples? Is that an example of reframing and then making it action oriented?
Yes.
Yeah. I love it. See, another R word. So now we have reframing in our mix.
Yeah. And we got to spend a lot more time on that on another episode because that's a very intentional skill that everybody needs to have.
And here's the deal is like whether it's in like a group environment, going through our methods, or a personal, going through your specific, like we go through the how of doing it with our paid coaching. And when you choose to say, raise your hand and say, that's what I wanted to say before I ask one more question to kind of leave us like pumped about the topic is you are worth it. You are worth investment, right? So just remember that. And then once you're like, yes, I am worth it. I'm worth the investment. I'm worth getting back up. Do you have any energy idea to get you excited to take that action?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah. So I think looking at what your new starting point is, like, looking at, okay, this is where I'm starting again. Like, but this is exciting. Like I get another chance to move towards this. I already know I've come this far. So I already know I can do it. Like I already know I've taken steps 1 through 15. I'm trying to get to 20. So like, this is exciting. I only have 5 more steps to go. Like, let's do it. Let's go. Right. So this is part of why the reflection is so important because you got to look back at your starting point and say, man, I already came so far and say, this is where I'm headed. So I think leaning into what was your original starting point? Yes, I already made it. And now looking at your new starting point, like, all right, cool. I'm restarting, but like, look at what I've already done. Look at the skills I've learned. Look at my accomplishments. Yeah, I'm still moving towards my goal, but I'm already so much closer than I was 3 months ago, 6 months ago, however long ago it was. And really looking at it as another opportunity, another chance for growth, right? Like you mentioned that sports analogy earlier of like, man, sometimes you learn the most like through a loss. Yeah. So also looking for, okay, what am I going to learn about myself this time? Like what new things, what new skills am I going to attain or develop or strengthen moving into this next phase of growth when I'm restarting this and just reshaping it as, okay, it's not a loss. It's not a failure the way that I thought that it was. Like it's another opportunity. It's a new opportunity for growth. And I'm going to be even stronger in whatever thing I was before than when I started. And that's exciting and something to be proud of.
It's like a different obstacle, different resistance, even if you're still what it feels like going through some of the same steps, right? To my like example, that's harder to collect data on, but it's doable of like, where's the data of how I showed up as a mom this week? Boom, 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 put some examples down, right? Exactly. And it sometimes is like a different version of the same game. And that is going to get you stronger and better. And I love it. It ties into, if we can kind of remind ourselves it feels better to do it that way, we can
Mm-hmm.
do that third thing that we start every show with and that we love doing, working with people on, is enjoy your life. That's what we want for you.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
so good. I got to say one other quick thing.
Yeah.
It'll take 10 seconds.
It's fine. I
Um,
have like 2 more things to ask you. So
okay, great. Well, then maybe it'll come up anyhow. But you said something about writing it down, and you got to have the data or the evidence someplace because you are going to forget. Just like you forget where you started. That's why you got to go back. So if you're not a journaling person, that's okay. You don't have to be. Put a note in your phone. Like you can, talk to Siri and
talk to Siri
talk
or
to Siri on your phone and say
yes,
some of these
about
things.
1,000 notes in it. I'm sure you're not surprised by that, Carly.
I'm not surprised
Or
in
if
the
you're
least bit.
a spreadsheet person, which I'm not, I only do spreadsheets when I need to.
0%.
Put it in a spreadsheet. Look at that. Data, put some numbers in there. Give some
Yeah,
ratings. There we go.
exactly. So just having some place to write it down. I just think that key thing needs to be highlighted because there's a pretty good chance at some point you're going to get to some more resistance and you're going to need to remind yourself but look how far I've already come.
Yeah.
Let me be proud of this. So you got to write it down.
That's awesome. So one of our goals and our visions for you listening is that you can reflect on this time that we spent together and we say like, how has this been healthier, happier for me? And do that as a part of our programming as well. So I want to ask you, Carly, how has this time been healthier, happier for you?
Honestly, this is perfect timing because I'm just talking through this, thinking about earlier today, I went for a run for the first time in goodness knows how long. I love my hot mom, power walks, but I was like, I just really miss running.
Yeah, good for you.
And so I felt whatever, ready to go and do it. And
she felt good.
I was not feeling any of those. But I was feeling strong enough in my body, back issues took a little backseat.
I want you to keep going, but I just want to remind you and everyone that don't wait to feel motivated though. And you didn't, and you did it, and give yourself that energy of what you want to feel while you start. So good.
Yes.
Go for a run today.
Good. So I went for a run. Yeah. And I was thinking about, part of why I didn't start earlier in the week was because I could feel myself coming from this shameful place because I used to run all the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm not naturally a runner. So I have to work really hard at it. But when I do it, I love it. I just feel really, really good. Yeah. And it's my me time. It's my time to think, process. It's just everything about it is great. So it's hard. It's a challenge. Anyhow, I did not do it because I was like, this just doesn't feel like a good, I don't want to come from this place when I'm starting again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to come from a place of, I'm doing this to feel good about myself. I'm doing this because I enjoy it. I'm doing it because, it's a stress release. It's not supposed to be a shameful thing or a I have to thing or I gotta log these miles. And so, I started today and kind of went through some of those thought processes earlier in the week. And even today, when I finished my run, I was my initial thought was I remember back when I could run, X amount of miles and it was no big deal. But I was okay, it's true. I used to be able to do that.
Data.
However, this is my starting point. I am restarting this journey of becoming a runner again. And it felt good. It felt exciting. It felt fun. And I just had a great time doing it. I got done and I was like, okay, I'm already sore, but this is great.
I'm already sore. I love that. It's whenever I ask my class, I'm like, okay, you'll experience some DOMS most from this workout. And someone's like, I already feel it. I already feel the DOMS. My muscle soreness is set in 30 seconds into the set. So I got the margarita. This only been, this is going to be enough for next episode. I only took 3 drinks. Here we are. Cheers to that, Carly.
Yeah. Thanks.
And I
So
love,
all that to say, this has been a very healthy and happy conversation for me to just like lock in. Okay, let's keep going.
yeah. Yep. That is so
Well,
amazing. That's
yeah,
awesome. And I love that you could have done the same same workout. You could have gone on a run from the intention of like, you know, bad
right.
energy. And you chose to act the way you want to feel and make it a part of your identity and, you know, choose to say, like, this is where I'm at right now. And I'm really excited that I'm doing this.
Yeah.
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 And notice the immediate benefits too is another really cool thing to help us to keep going. Right.
Mhm. Yes.
That's good. I love that. So as we leave and we're thinking about starting again, or maybe getting that next level up when you just had and you just fell down, what is
We fell
one
down.
action step that you can
Mhm.
leave the listener with that we could do today or by the end of this week?
Yeah. Oh, one. I knew you were going to tell me just one. I'm like, but they all are important. Yeah. So if you had to pick one thing to do, I think truly, I'm going to pull out an R word again, but it's one we've already used.
Yes.
I think you really have to, as you're restarting your journey, wherever you are, you need to reflect and reset your thoughts. So reflect on where you've come from, be proud of that, acknowledge it, find the things that kept you held back a little bit, own them.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
Mhm.
all part of all of that is one step. That's part of the reflection. Do that. And
That's fun.
but that's going to free you up. It's going to allow you to like let go of all the other things that got in your way. It's going to, kill the comparison, allow you to let go of the guilt and shame so that you're coming back into this restarting phase completely refreshed and renewed. You're not coming back into it, dragging your feet like somebody's pulling you to the start line again, right? Like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
choosing to walk up there and say like, yes, I'm
Own it.
ready to go.
I love
Yeah,
it.
and owning it. So
Yay.
that's it. Go back and reflect.
I love it. And don't let all that shame get in the mix. So if you start to notice that, act as if you were talking to your best friend that was going through the exact thing that you're going through. Speak to
Yes.
yourself or write about the data as you would to her or him, them. Think about it from that perspective. And whenever I get real up in my head, or I can tell a client's real up in their head, I just go to that direction. I was like,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
what would I tell
Self-compassion.
someone else to do or think
Mhm.
with the data? Because sometimes honestly, the mirror can lie. I thought it was like the mirror doesn't lie. Sometimes you can look at yourself and it can be like the way you're thinking about it and judging yourself. And you would never judge someone else in that harsh of a light. And let's just really turn up the volume. Oh, turn up the lighting on
Mhm.
for ourselves too. Because
Yeah.
guess what? We're not going to treat people worse because all of a sudden we're more compassionate and kind to ourselves. Heck no.
Yeah. Do it.
I'm getting
I
all
love
fired.
it.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right. So we are so thankful you're here. Don't leave it at this, though. We want you to take action. And part of taking action is getting involved in community. And we are community. And we're so thankful that you're one of the OG starting with us. And yeah, so healthierhappierhour.com. Did I get that right?
You got it.
All
Nailed
right.
it.
Go there, become a part of our community. And I think we need to put on our next community happy hour coaching, fun group session on the books. And that's
Yeah.
free for people that are in our community. So,
Yeah.
community.
Bonus, which like works out perfectly with what we're talking about is if you join our community, go to our website, we're going to share with you a really sweet, fun way to help you restart and reset whatever one of your goals are, whether it is, getting healthy and feeling better, connecting in a relationship, or just trying to learn how to enjoy your life. We are going to share that with you. It's going to come straight to your email in your inbox once you join our community. And it's a perfect way to help you ease back into your goals. If that's what you are looking to do, is restart a goal or reset something. It's simple, it's fun, it's easy, and we want it to be healthier and happier for you.
Woohoo! So
there we go.
We are cheering for you.
Yes, we are.
We're proud of you. We're thankful you're here. You got this. Let's go.